I've had a big dream of starting a plant nursery for the longest time, particularly herb seedlings, because I don't know, I love growing herbs and I have so many growing in the garden, so much so that it's too much for me. And when I say so many, I don't mean so many in terms of the range of herbs. I mean so many in terms of the number of herbs I have are too many for me. Like, I have parsley, but I have like 5 plants of parsley which are very large, so it's too much for me. So I decided to start selling those seedlings, and that's what I'm working on here. So I propagated a couple of weeks back, and I usually change the water every so often just to make sure that they don't rot, and also for seedlings like rosemary, just to make sure that they are rooting, because some of them are a bit difficult to propagate. So I just change the water while checking whether the progress is good. Are we forming roots or not? Because if they don't form roots, they don't become seedlings. So yeah, that's the plan. We are starting a nursery for herbs only, and then the long-term plan is to increase the range of seedlings we have, so that we have a lot more herbs. But for now, we just have like 6 or 7 herbs to start with. Biggest hacks anyone in farming will ever give you is you need to get ahead of the rain, especially if you're a crop farmer. So that's what we've been doing in the past couple of weeks, 3 weeks. And one of the ways we've been doing that, apart from planting seedlings or growing seedlings, is creating space to actually transplant those seedlings. As you may know from previous videos, that this where our garden is located, the area is filled with so many rocks. So we've decided to look into modern solutions of how we're going to farm and actually get good yield from what we are growing. And one of the ways has been by doing vertical farming, which is where you plant crops in this tiered garden which goes upwards, and it saves a ton of space, and it's also a great way to plant, especially if you have little space. So we bought the materials to create this garden a couple of weeks ago, and then went ahead to create the first tier maybe a week ago, and we had planned to do the rest of the tiers today, which will be 4 or 5 tiers with this mixture, the gardening mixture that you can see down here. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen because the mixture is too little, so we don't have enough soil. We've been getting some soil from our neighbors, but it seems that the mixture we have has run out, so we didn't manage to do the whole thing. Yeah, but this is what we managed to do today. The mixture that you fill in the vertical garden with is not just soil. So we mixed soil, red soil, manure, sawdust, as well as dust from charcoal. And the sawdust and the dust from charcoal is mixed into the soil, and the purpose for it is to make sure that the soil retains moisture. And of course, the manure is used to improve the soil. You want the soil to have as much nutrition as possible, so that's why you add in manure. Say this was not the easiest of things, because you're carrying a lot of rocks, you're spooning in soil to the garden. Oh my gosh, it's so exhausting, especially because it's so sunny. But we pushed through. And then the next step is, as you're filling in the soil, you're supposed to add in water into it, and then make sure that the water goes through the soil to make sure that the soil retains moisture, as well as to make sure that there are no spaces in the soil mixture, so that when you start planting or when you put in the next layer, the soil does not collapse on itself. So we went ahead and did that. Again, we realized that we did not have enough soil because we don't have soil here. Actually, the mixture that I had put in has a lot more sawdust and manure than soil. So we have an old vertical garden that we have in another space in the garden, so we sourced soil from there. We quickly realized, of course, that we will not be able to fill in the whole garden, but that's okay. We just did what we could and then called it a day. So I have a gardening vision board, and one of the things that is in it is creation of a little flower garden, of course, and as well as a nursery. So I decided to have that be in the same place. So this is going to be the spot where we're going to have the nursery as well as the flower garden. It doesn't look like much right now because there's not much growing there, but because this place is very shaded, nothing grows there, so that was the perfect spot. So I moved my seedlings there and moved a bit of flowers there to have them grow in that spot, and then we're gonna source more flowers. And when I put my seedlings in to the growing, the little papers in which you sell them, I'm gonna put them there so that it becomes the nursery and flower garden. I'm gonna show you once we make headway on that, but this is what it will look like for now. The afternoon we decided to continue gardening and especially work on the other vertical garden. The one thing we've been doing of late is creating space. So in this other vertical garden we had a lot of pak choy growing, so I just harvested it, and basically the main goal is to create space, not really to harvest. So we just harvested it and removed it completely from the garden. One way you can harvest pak choy is to remove some leaves and then leaving it to grow, but we decided to just uproot everything. We also uprooted this terere or amaranth. We just wanted to create space so that I could go ahead and plant the seedlings that we bought maybe a week ago. We bought a lot of seedlings from Simlo Seeds. The plan is, as I've told you, the plan is to get ahead of the rain so that when the rain comes, you already have seeds growing. So I went ahead and took inventory of the seeds that I have. We have so many. We've bought so many in the past 2 weeks. So I took inventory of the seeds I have and went ahead and planted a few.
What is called a watermelon?
So I planted carrots as well as beetroot, celery, and then this kale that I found. It's called Indian palak spinach, not kale, Indian palak spinach, which looks interesting. I've never heard of it, so I just bought it. I usually buy seeds from Simlo Seeds, which range from anywhere from 40 bob to 200 and something. I also got some from EA Seeds, which they have a section which is for kitchen gardeners. So every seed packet that is in that section is usually 58 bob. So we got a lot of seed packets from there, and yeah, that's what we are going to use for this season of planting. I also planted some lettuce, some hoho, sweet peppers, as well as some celery. I didn't show everything, but yeah, we planted them all in the garden and also in some space in the vertical garden, as well as some space behind the vertical garden where I planted some lettuce and the peppers. Then I ended the day just doing a lot of watering because the plants need water, the seeds need water to grow. These are some of the things that I planted on that day. And yeah, we're just going to wait for them to grow. I'm really excited for what the garden will look like in the next couple of months because I have planted so much. Yeah, and I hope you stick around to see it as well. I'm definitely going to be sharing that. Thank you for watching this video and catch you on the next one. Bye.